All right, well, welcome. My name is Wendy Cornelison, and this map talk is called Sowing Seeds of Hope Globally. So I'm supposed to be presenting for about 15 minutes, and then we can just have dialogue around mission trips and why we go. So, why should we go on a mission trip? There are a number of good reasons to go. One, you need to get out. We can't learn everything that we need to learn in this world from our computers, our phones, and so on. And so getting out can teach you a lot of things. You're not able to Google poverty statistics in Haiti and then also sit with a woman that is dying of AIDS or that is homeless and can't afford to take care of her children and get equally the same value from that. You will see the world differently. People live in small one-room homes. Many sleep on the floors. I've never heard of air conditioning, even though it's over 90 degrees, and they practically have nothing, but they will offer you their very best when you go and show up. And third, you will meet Jesus. Have you encountered Jesus, first of all? This is one way that will really touch your life and your relationship with him. And there's nothing like worship in another country, in another culture. How about experiencing his love through the generosity of the poor? On a mission trip, our eyes are open to seeing God in ways that we never have before. We get away from the distractions of home and the pressures of American life and leave that all behind, and then we can discover the love of God and all that he has for us. Fourth, Jesus tells us to get out. Matthew 28:19, it says, "Therefore go and make disciples." We all know that scripture. Somebody needs to go and share the gospel, and the whole world needs to hear it. There are people who have never heard, as we've learned this week in lots of the presentations. And what an honor for us to be able to go and share his goodness and his love to others. And lastly, it's because that's what Jesus did while he was here on earth. Thank you. He spent much of his time with the poor, healing the sick, and bringing hope to the hopeless. And this is our opportunity and our chance to do something like that as well. So what do you have to offer? Thank you. We all have time, treasure, and talent. God cares about this, and so therefore we need to also. There's nothing like walking hand in hand with those that are in need. We need to value them and bring dignity to them and love on them as Jesus would. Okay. And some of you may have heard about mission trips causing damage and spending so much extra money going to these places. And of course, we can cause damage if we waltz into another culture or another community and act like we're the Great White Hope and have all the answers and tell them what they need or give them money and handouts to fix all their problems. So obviously, we don't do that, and I'm going to share a little bit with you about what we do. But in When Helping Hurts, they talk about 1 in 10 of people living in poverty actually describe poverty only in a material way. They would say poverty is a lack of dignity, feeling inferior, trapped, they have no voice, they're ashamed and degraded. So we can reach these people on such a different level when we go and have that relationship and just personally do life with them. So what does Seed of Hope do? SEED stands for Stabilize, Equip, Empower, and Develop. And we do that by going overseas, coming alongside local pastors, local churches, having a conversation with them and asking them what do they want and how can we engage with them to help them do that even more and better. We don't have all the answers. We don't come in with the agenda. We also can do that here in the United States by mobilizing churches and different groups to go overseas and also to do that in their own backyard. No church is too small. We can provide all of the administrative pieces to mobilize your church or your group to go. We have the software that we draw people from all different parts of the United States, and we can all do our team training together. We can do our debriefing together, all of the forms and logistics together, even though we're living in different places. And then we can meet up in an airport, and then we go on the trip together. So that takes care of all of the financial aspects as well, and helping with fundraising and so on. So from there, I guess I'm open to answering any questions about what we do. The handout there gives a little bit about what we do, and we have many relationships. We've been working for 7 years in the Dominican Republic. We've also been over to East Africa, to Uganda and Kenya, Tanzania. We're also in Haiti. We've got partnerships there. So we're just open to where God leads, and if there's a trip that wants to form, then we will take you, we will launch you to our trusted partners, or take you where you want to go. Another aspect that has come out of some of this gathering here this week is having church-to-church relationships, Anglican churches with a sister church overseas in Africa. And what does that look like? So really praying and exploring through those possibilities, and having some churches in your area combine to form one group to go over and to have a relationship with another church in Rwanda, or many different places. So possibilities are really endless. So don't dream too small. So any questions or thoughts?
Do you mind giving a little more detail on how you stabilize, and what are you doing to equip, empower, develop?
Yes. So let's say in the Dominican Republic right now, we have many women that are trapped in the sexual servitude. They have many children. The children have many fathers. There's a real problem with that. So we've started an agriculture project. It's a mentoring program where women will help other women. We come in and help stabilize them and do some training and equip them and empower them then to do their own gardening, which will then give them the opportunity to sell produce and to in the market, and then also to provide for their family and others in the community. And then they're charged with passing that on to another woman in the community. So it's breaking that cycle of generational poverty, and it's very empowering and restoring the dignity. They've all got resources and the capability and the capacity to help themselves. We don't need to come in and do it, but they may not have thought outside of their circumstances. So we come in to plant a seed or an idea and help nudge them into doing a program like that. So that's just one example of many things we're doing. We also have the feminine hygiene kits that the women are sewing in the kind of like the old sewing bee groups, and the women are going to sit around and talk, so their hands might as well be busy. And these feminine hygiene kits then provide a way for the young girls and women to be able to stay in school. They're not ostracized and shamed and told to leave school for that week or whatever, that they're unclean. So then their test scores are better, and they're able to stay in school, and then they're able to graduate and get jobs and work in the community. So,
can I give an example?
Yeah.
There's a place called Bataruco in Santa Domingo, it's not in Santa Domingo, it's in Dominican Republic, and the pastor there moved there and wanted to plant a church, but it is so poor that within the first couple of years, he had one kid come to him who he was about to commit suicide, and the Holy Spirit said, go talk to the pastor. But a kid had starved to death just a few months before. So what does stabilizing look like in that case? We've made a 5-year commitment through facilitated some other mission organizations to come in, but we provide food on a decreasing element so that they're stabilized. So now we can work past other areas. So then you with the equipping is you start teaching them some basic farming skills. Because as the stabilization funding goes down, if you're going to develop them, they have to have self-sufficiency. So all of a sudden, there's talk about chicken farming, egg production, gardens going in, some training in raised bed gardenings, high yield vertical gardening, depending on the space, potato boxes, whatever it may be. And then you walk with them to empower them, because right now we have the skills. We have to impart those skills and they have to take ownership. So that would be the empowerment. And then the develop is, then you become a consultant. We're not there at Bajaruco yet, but they're producing their food. They're feeding. When school's not in session now, they're feeding 204 kids. And
Otherwise would not eat that
they would
day or
not
that
eat
week.
that day.
Literally.
Okay. Now, when we first went in there, the government school only went half day, so the government didn't even have to feed them. But because we bought in, the government bought in.
That's good.
So now the government's covering a good chunk of the cost, except during vacation. And then there's no food, and kids can't last Christmas vacation without eating.
Well, 3 months in the summer.
Yeah, so that's where the stabilization comes in. But they have to now produce, because they're about to start year 3 of 5. So now they have to start producing a lot of their own vegetables. They need to start producing some eggs and some protein and start working a plan. So that's probably the one model that's most clearly, they tend to circle, depending, because you have multiple relationships, but it's the stabilize, equip, empower development is kind of the backdrop of what we're doing in each one of these conversations. She can tell you about prisons and how we've developed a relationship with a guy and empowered him to go into prisons, and he's teaching spiritual warfare and discipleship of over 400 inmates. In Uganda, where she's partnered with a local botanist to empower women to make products and sell on the open market to support their family.